Hi, this is Donna Ray from San Diego, and she's coming to visit us here in Ljubljana to give us a wonderful workshop, self-regulation according to the emotions in the past, present and the future. She's a Feldenkrais trainer, educational director in Feldenkrais Institute and all other places in the world. I'm very happy that you come here to the little town in Ljubljana and you give us really wonderful workshop.
Thank you so much, Andrea. It's wonderful to be here at your Feldenkrais Institute and see all the wonderful work that you're doing with babies and parents and adults in the Feldenkrais Method.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Very happy that you come to Ljubljana. It's about how you teach the Feldenkrais Method and the essence of it, how you represented in the workshop was really great.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask you about how do you see as a Feldenkrais trainer this method?
Well, thank you for having me here. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here in your country and in your city. And
thank you.
it's a long way from California, but I love traveling and sharing the Feldenkrais Method. And I think that now there are many trainers of the Feldenkrais Method and many practitioners, and we all have slightly different ways of teaching the method, although it has its own essence. So it's always there's a pure sense of the Feldenkrais Method, which is of course learning how to learn through movement and becoming aware of what we're doing so we can have choice in how we behave in the world. It's my interest is to teach the Feldenkrais Method and to emphasize the relationships that people have with their students and with each other while practicing the Feldenkrais Method, because it creates safety and security and growth and easy development.
And how, may I ask you, how Feldenkrais Method could help every person actually? I mean, why it's so good, what effects of the Feldenkrais Method are really unimagined actually if you receive it or you do it 8 times. How can we say something more about this today?
Yes, the Feldenkrais Method actually applies to all human development, and it's difficult sometimes to convince people that the Feldenkrais Method is good for everything. But it truly is good for everything because it helps us become aware of our natural way of being. So when we become aware of the lengthening of the spine and how everything turns together, or how we look down or how we look up, and all the different parts of us move in harmony, we can do everything better. And that includes golfing or tennis or running or jumping or rolling out of bed, lifting a baby, doing whatever it is, we can do it easier and better. And when things are moving efficiently and harmoniously, aches and pains and problems disappear.
But could you tell us a little bit more about the difference? Because a lot of methods searching for this actually and offer the same results actually. But these days, scientists, neuroscientists prove it somehow. There's lately been a book published about neuroscience, how Feldenkrais Method is really affecting especially the relationship between the practitioner or the person, how Moshe discovered actually.
So the Feldenkrais Method relies on the neuroplasticity of the brain. And the recent book that Norman Doidge wrote about this talks about the Feldenkrais Method in detail. Dr. Feldenkrais knew over the course of his lifetime that he was working with the brain and the nervous system, and now we have modern science to confirm that this is actually true. So when we're touching, we're not working with the muscles, and we're not putting things in place, we're not massaging. Instead, through touch, even if I take your arm, see, I'm moving you so that you can sense the relationship between your hand, your arm, your chest. You see your spine lengthening. So everything's happening together and you're sensing this efficient pleasurable movement. Therefore, you remember it and you put it to use after you leave me. And that's the power of the method, is that we're actually changing your perception of yourself and how you move, and the neuronal firing patterns in your brain are actually changing over time.
So actually with the way of the Feldenkrais work, how you apply the nervous system really change the patterns. So we could say that the other methods, if we differentiate it, they are not, Feldenkrais method is not so technical or mechanical.
It's not technical, it's not mechanical, although there's a lot of precision in the touch, but we're relying on the plasticity of the brain, and we're touching in a very informational way. So there's never a feeling that somebody's doing something to you. Instead, we join with our nervous systems together, actually, and then we find a more efficient way. And it works with babies. They don't have to follow verbal directions. It works with people who are recovering from strokes. It works with people who have brain injuries of all different kinds. It even works with animals. Horses, dogs, cats. I even worked with a rat that had torticollis. His neck was stuck. It was my children's pet. So I worked with his neck. So you can work with any animal and teach them how to move better.
Because actually it's about the nervous system that gets involved here, not the local, just part of the body actually.
That's right. It's not about a local part. It's about how everything's moving together in an integrated way. So the term integration is really key to the Feldenkrais method. And the hands-on work that we do is called functional integration, because we're working with human functioning. Like I said, it could be reaching or turning, looking down, looking up, running. So there's functional activity. And then the integration is that we're working with the muscles, the skeleton, the nervous system, even the emotional system, the way that we think. And we're bringing all those parts into harmony so that people can actually perform at a higher level of functioning.
Well, you give us a great workshop here in Ljubljana. The topic was about the self-regulation according to the emotions in the past, present and in the future. So we could say that method also help or enrich in personal development in many levels actually. The participants really experience the difference, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, so the nervous system is always going through fluctuations in excitation or arousal levels. And the Feldenkrais method helps us learn to self-regulate. It brings us into harmony. So when people are suffering with anxiety or depression or post-traumatic stress, when their nervous system is brought back to a harmonious functioning level, these symptoms go away.
I would like to ask you also about the pain. People usually have a lot of questions about the pain. So the pain, it's not a matter of the body actually, it's in the memory, it's in the nervous system. So how
That's right.
we deal with that in Feldenkrais method?
Well, we have acute pain, which is pain that from a recent injury, for example. If you twist your ankle or somebody punches you, you're going to have pain that's immediate and quick. But then there's pain that's chronic and it lasts over time. And scientists have found that the pain is actually in the nervous system or the brain. We remember the pain. And that the tissue can be completely healed, but we start to do a movement and then we remember, not necessarily consciously, but the person hasn't yet realized that they can do this movement. And the movement triggers a cascade of events in the nervous system and the pain is there. So in the Feldenkrais method, we interrupt this system so that it doesn't go into the pain pattern. And people find that they can do all kinds of things.
Great.
Yeah.
It's almost unbelievable. So I would like to also ask you about psychotherapists. So how you could say, if you compare somehow, because I know you know that if you mix it, it doesn't work actually. Anyway, also other things, but the way how we could, through the Feldenkrais, enrich this, that you manage to go over some this, or how you understand yourself.
Well, as I said, the Feldenkrais method helps us understand what we're doing and how we do it, and it helps us regulate our nervous system so that we become more self-regulating. Psychotherapy is somewhat different because it's generally relying on the conversation, although many psychotherapeutic methods now bring in awareness of sensation and breathing, so they're becoming more integrated. The Feldenkrais practitioner has a trusting, secure relationship with her students, and through movement, she learns how to change posture, action, actually how to connect intention and action so that we can do what we want to do. So many issues that people have that are thought of as psychological resolve themselves while you're learning how to move better.
So they could also differentiate easily what is the reaction, and then they start self-regulate and then respond to the normal things in life.
Yes, and that's a really useful way to think about it, because if we're reacting, it could be even hearing a loud sound outside. So a soldier that's returned from a war situation hears the noise outside, and he or she would jump out of the chair. I've seen actually people do that. So over time, we can learn to regulate the nervous system so that the noise can occur and we just respond to the noise. We don't react to it. And many things are like that. You know, people in general have things that they react to too strongly. They're not in the present, responding to what's actually happening in the moment. So with this self-regulation and awareness, we can become much more present and responsive.
So these are actually steps of self-development, or bringing more awareness about self.
Absolutely, it's self-awareness.
I would like to also ask you some question about tonus, muscle tonus, and also tension, the nervous system, which is have some potential tension. How do you differentiate those things?
Well, we have a neuromuscular pattern that goes with the activities that we're involved in, and we actually have a neuromuscular pattern that sort of represents who we are. So we have tendencies of tilting our head one direction, or bending on one side easier than the other, and we can interrupt those patterns and make all movement easier. So there's general tonus throughout the whole nervous system. And when we're working with neuroplasticity, we slow everything down so that we reduce the muscle tonus throughout the whole system, and this creates the possibility of creating new neuronal pathways in the brain. So we're relying on neuroplasticity. Now that's very different than changing, say, the muscle tone in your arm. So I could give you a massage, for example, and change the muscle tone in your arm, but that's not going to change your brain, and it's not going to change your movement functioning. You see what I mean? So it's isolated compared to the whole tonus of your whole self.
Nervous system receive this change, or could differentiate, so the person receive this information, so it's against how he would take it, so the brains recognize it, so it's there.
Absolutely.
So the person could recall it, but he has to make a choice. It's not just that, it's obviously that now he will go in the other pattern or the optimal functional way, but the person needs to really make a choice.
Well, it's an interesting way of putting it, because when you present efficient movement to the nervous system, the brain nervous system, it's an embodied response, and there's an inherent drive in a human being, even in mammals, to gravitate toward efficiency. So it's not really a choice, it's what automatically happens. So if you create the conditions for a human being to improve themselves they will improve themselves. They want to. There's no resistance to that. Because the Feldenkrais method treats each person with such gentleness and respect that there's nothing to resist.
So if you come or decide to start to receive the Feldenkrais method, so this will happen anyway.
It's going to happen automatically. You just have to go for the lessons. You have to show up and go to your practitioner.
This first choice you have
and
to
receive
make.
the lessons. That's right. Yeah, just make the choice that you want to feel better, that you want to change and develop and become more self-aware, and go to Feldenkrais classes or to a practitioner, and this is going to happen.
Well, thank you very much. Happy that you come, and I hope that you come again.
Thank you,
maybe
Andreja.
some other time.
Thank you so much, and thank you for creating such a beautiful Feldenkrais Center here in Ljubljana.
Thank you.
Okay. Andreja, tell us more about what you do here at your institute in Ljubljana with the Feldenkrais method.
Well, I represent it to the parents actually, and I do it separately only with the parents or together also with the babies.
Wonderful.
And I try to actually bring awareness to the parents how it's important that the child move and how to move and how to cooperate with him, and bring out more sensitivity and more connections to the during how they daily nurture the baby, how this is very important because baby is growing, every touch is very important because it's a communication to the nervous system through the position, and of course how then he will put together the movement. And it is very important for that parents know that the child is safe if he's moving on the floor, and give more freedom and space to discover on their own, because parents these days, as I see, are very protective, and this sort of cut away the experience to the children.
So it sounds like creating this kind of learning environment with the Feldenkrais method creates much more confidence and security in babies and even in the parents as they're caring for their babies and children.
So how the babies step on the 2 feet? Yes, some in this way, and somehow I invented, I call it functional developmental approaches. So how through the Feldenkrais method really lift up, turn around the babies, so that you get more sensitivity and respond to the child, how the child develop according to actually we talk about the nervous system, how he responds to that lifting, touching, and so on.
So this co-regulation that takes place between children that are thriving and they're growing and naturally they're supported with when their parents actually know how to hold them and support them, and it makes them more confident, as I said. Perhaps it makes them explore the world more fully, and it also shows the parents that the children actually know what to do on their own when they're supported and left alone.
Yes.
And it also, I think, helps with children that have difficulties or have brain injuries. So
also,
do you work both with children in need and developmental problems as well as children that are...
yes, they respond very well. It's very important for the parents. It's not just to take care, but how to take care really. To open to this safety place for both, for the parents and for the child, so they could grow together in these natural ways. Because I as experience see that it's not only that you lift it and hold it. Of course, you protect the child, but how you do that, it's very important. It's go deep into the connection and bonding and other.
Right, so it's good for babies that are typical and atypical. It helps parents bond with their children no matter what situation they're in.
Yes, I look all of them as in a process of development. I don't like to use typical or not typical, normal or
Right.
some difficult,
Right.
but it's a parent and there is a baby, so how they
Beautiful.
grow together and
Beautiful.
how we could enrich the potential. So because we know of the brain plasticity, so they could catch the new patterns and move on further in the development.
Wonderful.
This is my job.
Yeah. Wow, thank you for creating such a wonderful center that really supports humanity.
Thank you.